All right, the next category we have is Best Actor. Now, here's a category this year that's been kind of debated heavily with the performances of such people as George Clooney, Morgan Freeman, and even others such as, who did I just love? Jeff Bridges, of course, and I personally just blew me away in that film. But I want to go over a few that had just kind of got overlooked as the award season kind of swarmed them underwater, so to speak. One is Sam Rockwell, an actor I've always liked since The Green Mile back in 1999. That my favorite film that year. He was fantastic in a film he did earlier this year called Moon, where he's pretty much on a spaceship listening to the voice of Kevin Spacey, like the HAL machine. And yeah, it sounds funny if you think about it, but really, it's a story about someone who just can't depict what's real and what isn't, what's in his head, as he's in space for so long, just wanting to get back to his family. And here's a type of film where an actor has to carry by himself, and he kept me entertained all the way through it. Now, it's not as long as Castaway, whereas Tom Hanks was just starting to lose me just at the right time, where they finally just switched it up. They had him finally try to go out and get on his get off the island, and if they got it even a minute or two longer, they would have lost me. But thankfully, that's why I vouched for Tom Hanks hard that year for Castaway. And it's not easy to carry a movie by yourself, even if you are a great actor like Tom Hanks, or even if you're someone like Sam Rockwell, who I'd categorize as reliable. And he was very good here. I think he really kind of, this is the type of movie where he can look back and say, even if he doesn't get a nomination, which I don't think he will, but I'm just standing up for him, saying, hey, I'm proud of that, that's an accomplishment for you. Kind of like Tom Hanks in The Terminal, where that's just one of those movies you can look back and say, yeah, I was happy with that, even though it didn't get the recognition I'd hoped. And he is fantastic here. I guess you haven't seen that one yet. No, I don't think it's out on DVD yet either. Another one is one that has also kind of mixed bag for many critics is Matt Damon in The Informant.
Oh yeah. It looks kind of like a weird movie, so I wasn't really too keen on seeing it. He
was very over the top here. I will admit that he had a zaniness about him that I just couldn't help but love. I think he's always been overlooked as an actor, and he's been more perceived as a movie star. Now, it's pretty obvious he's going to get a supporting actor nomination for Invictus. He's been nominated pretty much for every other major award this year, supporting actor award. But and I wouldn't mind if he won either. But the thing is that he always is just deemed as the guy in the Bourne movies, and people forget he's won an Oscar for screenplay for Good Will Hunting. He was nominated that same year for Best Actor. So he's been there, but then after that he became a star.
He's actually a very versatile actor, and he's done a lot of films which people don't really remember that he's in because they're either overlooked or he's just kind of minor, and but he does anything and everything, and I really respect him as an actor, not just a star, but as an actor.
Yes, and that's very important.
He can carry the action, but he can also carry comedy. So I haven't seen The Informant. I would like to. Again, don't want to spend $11 to see it, but
it's coming out soon. He is. The thing about his character in this movie. He is completely pathetic. He's completely pathetic, and you know what? You love him anyway. You just love him. You really want to root for him, even though he's just screwing himself over at every turn, just because he doesn't know any better. He's just caught up in it all, and that's what happens when we're how many of us would dream, be caught up in a government espionage kind of situation here, and we just want to, we go full throttle. We don't think what we're doing to ourselves here. We could be incriminating ourselves. And that's the thing. Normally, if any other actor played it, I would just think this guy's pathetic. I'm not really enjoying his character. But Matt Damon had a way of making him likable. And that's another mark of a good actor there. And another one I have, too, is another movie that kind of very small blip on the radar screen star Patton Oswalt, best known for his role as the mama's boy Spence on the hit TV series King of Queens, playing a more tragic version of Spence in a film called Big Fan, where he plays an obsessed Giants fan who gets nearly killed in a barroom altercation with the quarterback of the team because the quarterback thinks he's a narc because he's been following him. And that's just where his obsession goes. He writes out what he's going to say on the sports talk shows he calls in. This guy is pathetic. Not pathetic in a chance where you think you want to root for him like in The Informant. Pathetic in the sense that he's just pathetic. But at the same time, you pity him. You feel sorry for this guy, and thinking buddy, get a life. You seem like an okay guy. And that's the thing, if you look at the character of Spence on King of Queens, it's funny because it's a sitcom, but really in real life, someone who's nearing 40 and lives with his mother, still, you just deem utterly pathetic. And that's what this character is, and he really gave it depth. It's like giving Spence depth. I didn't think this guy was capable of it. He's a stand-up comic, I didn't know what to expect going into this movie, but he did a fantastic job. I hope you can see it someday.
Yeah, I looked on the internet and I thought it was out, but the video store didn't have it.
No, it didn't. All right, give us yours.
Okay, mine are kind of obvious. George Clooney, I just have to say, he was so good in that film, and in Up in the Air, you know, sometimes it's hit or miss with him. You know,
it really is.
He tends to be kind of the same in a lot of his films. Yet, you know, he plays the same similar role. And this one is not really any different. You know, he's just a typical businessman, just doing his job. But he brought life to this character, and he brought a character and a likableness to this character. And I was with him from the beginning to the end. You know, I felt bad when, you know, he was let down, and I felt good when he, you know,
was doing
well. And you know, him and Anna Kendrick they had a camaraderie.
They were really together, yes.
They were just perfect together. They had such a chemistry as co-workers, and yeah, I was really rooting for him the whole time. Joseph Gordon-Levitt for 500 Days of Summer. He also got a Golden Globe nomination for this film. He just, again, like we talked about in the actress category, he's just so lovable, and you have to laugh at him because he is so funny, and he's so
absolutely.
cute, and
Absolutely.
you're like, you feel bad when he's let down, but you know, you're on his highs and you're on his lows, and you're with him the whole way, and he's your typical hero, and he's so good. And the last is Jeremy Renner in The Hurt Locker.
Oh, yes.
Hugely overlooked at the Golden Globes.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck happened there? He did get a SAG nomination, Screen Actors Guild nomination.
That's why I didn't put it on my list.
And which, thank God for that, because I probably wouldn't have even noticed him, you know, if it hadn't been brought to my attention, like, until I watched the film, and then I was like, this guy is so good. He was, like, like, if the film was the track, he was the train.
Yes.
Like, he just kept that going, and
really did.
You rooted for him at first, you hated him, but then you really did grow to like him, and at the end, he had this confidence about him, but there was an awareness of something else beyond that as well, and you didn't hate him, even though you probably could have.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There are times you just wanted to, like, well, who is this guy? He's putting all these people in danger, and other times like, come on, get it. He's like, trying to defuse and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And now the 3 films you just named those actors in were my top 3 of the year, ironically enough. And you know something, I agree with pretty much all those assessments. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, my opinion, there were some scenes where he was overshadowed by Zooey Deschanel's greatness. Yeah. She did steal that movie sort of from him, but at the same time, he really did something for his career in this film. And I think it's something that paid dividends for him down the road, and we can hopefully erase G.I. Joe from our minds. Thankfully, it wasn't a big enough role for him to really hurt him. Also, another thing, Jeremy Renner. Now, I think with the release of the movie on DVD and the buzz it's sort of created again among the critics, as it's made most critics 10 best, he was overlooked at the Golden Globes, and as all the major critics lists have come out, all of a sudden he's being looked at again with the Academy from what some of the